The intricate network of mangrove forests along Kenya's coastline represents one of Africa's most promising climate solutions. Here in Gazi, Kwale County, these trees, with their distinctive stilt-like roots emerging from brackish waters, are capturing international attention. Not just for their biodiversity value, but for their remarkable capacity to sequester carbon dioxide at rates of up to 5 times more efficiently than rainforests. This natural carbon capture technology has promised Kenya as a leader in nature-based climate solutions. Under the Mikoko Pamoja carbon offset project, which started in 2014, local communities have come together to protect this vulnerable but very important ecosystem that is critical in the fight against climate change.
This is the first project on Earth to successfully restore and protect mangroves using the carbon trade. And the success of this project has given rise to Vanga Brew Forest, and now we are in Lamu.
Drawing on traditional ecological knowledge and modern carbon science, villagers have established a self-sustaining system that protects 117 hectares of mangrove ecosystem while generating crucial income through verified carbon credits.
The carbon captured and stored by this system is 10 times more than what you find in the terrestrial forest. So, and that's also a danger. When you degrade such a carbon-rich system, you also release so much carbon dioxide leading to climate change.
We meet Gabriel Njoroge, a master's student at the University of Nairobi, who is doing his research work on carbon stocks on mangrove and seagrasses, testing the carbon biomass, both above and below the ground.
When looking at this carbon stocks and also the biodiversity, I'm trying to look at how does the ecosystem, the mangrove ecosystem functionality. And when we talk about ecosystem functionality, is like how does the biodiversity help and the carbon interact. And with this, I'm able now to help even the community here under the Mikoko Pamoja. We're able to help the community here to estimate the carbon stocks of their forest, of which they now translate to carbon credits, and they're able to sell.
So, how are carbon stocks measured?
We have what we call the vernier caliper. That one helps you to capture the diameter, the dBH. Once you get the reading of the dBH, you are able now to go and put it in the Excel, and then we use allometric equations. It's standard worldwide standard techniques. So with that allometric equation, we are able to know the amount of carbon in that certain tree using that dBH, that is the diameter. When you come to like soil, we measure. We have the chorus. You come with the chorus, it's 1 meter. We sample up to 1 meter depth. So when you go to 1 meter depth, you subsample, and with that, you are able to know the carbon stock captured in that soil.
The tree will grow big, right? By the stem, by the leaf, like it will grow tall. We use now the science. We are able to estimate what's the growth rate of that tree. Yeah, because when the tree is growing, it accumulates carbon. Yeah, so that accumulated carbon is what now you measure before and after. And some of this carbon is also captured by the soil. Yeah, because you see mangrove are between the land and the sea. So they trap almost these sediments coming from the land, sediment coming from the sea, and some of those sediments are very high in organic matter. So the organic matter is able to store so much carbon. Organic matter is carbon, really. So when you have that organic matter, so we use the equation, we know the stem diameter, we know the tree height, we are able to know how much. Like for instance, if a tree of, you can see a tree of 10 centimeter in diameter, it will have a height around 10 meters tall, depending on where it is growing. Most of this one you are seeing here will be around 7 meters. So a tree like this, if I was to measure this carbon, I would measure all the tree diameter, yeah, in 1 hectare, these trees, and then I go 1 meter in soil. If I convert this area, I'll be getting like 700 tons of carbon. Yeah, in that, in this area. So if this area was to be degraded, it will emit that. So what we are saying, we are not selling in sacks. Yeah, this is not a transactional business whereby you are coming to harvest food. No, you are measuring the carbon not released, That's the one. Now, using the international carbon market, we're able now to convert that to valuable, to value. How much do we transact?
There are 9 species of mangroves in Kenya, covering about 61,000 hectares, representing about 2% of the total tree cover. The carbon generated from the mangroves in Gazi is now being traded in the carbon markets, attracting investors, learning institutions, companies, and even climate action enthusiasts who are playing a critical role in using the carbon credit market to fight the effects of climate change. Kenya, being a signatory of the United Nations Framework for Climate Change, allows the sale of carbon through the Clean Development Mechanism, or a voluntary process which is based on mutual agreements.
This is what we call high quality carbon. The price goes between $20 to $40 per ton. So it means if you are selling 3,000, this community is able to raise almost 60,000 US dollars per year. If you can convert that into Kenya shillings, you are seeing it's almost 10 million, 7 to 8 million, depending again on the market. We sell to universities, like my universities, and we have Napier University in UK, we have Free University of Belgium, we have, which one? We have also with Net Zero in Sweden is also one. The Net Zero is also one of our buyers, and of course other individual team people who just want to offset with that. And also we also depend on the conferences.
These monies are then channeled through the Mikoko Pamoja project, where members of the community get to decide the investment areas.
Umebadilisha jamii ya Gazi kwa maendeleo tofauti ambayo ametufanyia kuhusu hewa kaa. Kwa mfano, ikiwa kwamba wanauza hewa kaa, ile pesa ambayo inapatikana inafanyiwa maendeleo katika jamii. Maendeleo haya ni kama kununua vitabu vya shule, ujenzi wa madrasa, maji na kununua vifaa katika zahanati ya Gazi.
Pindi tutakapopanda mikoko kwa wingi, ndio tunazidi kuzalisha kaboni kwa wingi. Sasa ni lazima tuipande, tuhamasishana, na tukihamasishana basi watakubaliana kina mama.
I will tell you, the carbon project works, but it works when you move with the people, in the designing and in the implementation. Initially, it was very difficult to sell the idea, because people will think we are coming to harvest your forest. We are not. Now it's very easy. It's the success of this Mikoko Pamoja. Mikoko Pamoja has won 3 awards. It's out of these prizes that other communities becomes very interested. So from Mikoko Pamoja in 2014, we had to move. We moved to Vanga. Vanga, they are selling 6,000 tons of CO2 equivalent per year. Now from Vanga we have moved to Lamu. Lamu will be selling almost 700 tons. That's a lot of money. You're talking of in millions. It's $1.2 million. That's really huge volume. So I'm talking about the embracing. People have moved to accept that carbon market works.
But challenges such as deforestation continue to pose a danger to the mangrove habitat. Locals have been cutting down the trees for construction of houses and even for fuel. Mangroves also have high economic value, environmental experts estimating a value of approximately 2 million shillings per hectare.
So our project is one of what we call avoided deforestation approach, whereby we stop harvesting mangrove and we are able to trade that that avoided emissions, we say. So here in Gazi, as I say, we are able, from 117 hectares of mangrove, we are, in Gazi alone, we are selling 3,000 tons of carbon. That's annually.
Changamoto ambayo hipo askari si wengi sana, kwa sababu tunahitaji tuongezewe askari ili walinde msitu wetu uboreshe. Kama kwa mfano tuna askari 2, tunataka tuongezewe kama rangers wa 4 ili wakifanya patrol kwenye msitu wajue sehemu hii kuna mtu fulani analinda na hakuna hatari yoyote ambayo itakao mkoko hutaharibiwa.
Mangroves are also a vital ecosystem in shoreline protection, acting as barriers to strong sea conditions, hence protecting erosion of the mainland. The trees are also home to more than 30% of marine species found in Kenya's waters, with over 3,000 species depending on the mangroves for breeding and feeding. This has in turn also ensured the return of commercial fish, which were on the brink of disappearing because of habitat destruction. This community in Gazi is a living example of the ambitious goal towards achieving a comprehensive carbon footprint, and therefore they appeal for more funding in order to combat climate change through financing such projects which lower greenhouse gas concentrations.
The Carbon Credit Program is an initiative that has been widely embraced by the community living here, becoming a game changer not only in conservation of the mangrove habitat, but also a source of livelihood for the people. Kevin Mutai, NTV in Gazi, Kwale County.